Oh, look, there's a crazy star sending CW Morse. It's blowing around in the wind there. That's a 12 volt LED panel for a car interior light. And I've got three toroidal receiving elements vertically, sort of one, then a space, then the next, then a space, then the next, going to an earth wire. Each toroidal element goes through a magnetically tuned inductor and then to rectification as well as a capacitor. So here is the system. I'll just briefly explain it. So there's a torus here, another torus here, and another torus here. So this would be the top of the system when it's vertical up a tree. And there's the DC line, the next torus, the DC line, the next torus, a little bit of DC line, and then the light. And then we go to an earth wire that would go all the way to a ground rod. At the moment it's just running down there. Now, how does it work? Okay. I'm just trying to improve my efficiency on the receiving side of wireless energy. So it's just an experiment. So this torus is one of the antenna elements, essentially. And the torus connects directly to a magnetically tunable inductor, where I try to tune for optimum peak to peak. And then the output from that inductor is rectified and goes onto this DC line where I've got a positive and negative, and there's also a capacitor across the DC line there. So we have, when it's operating, a charged line with a positive and negative. Further down here we have another toroid or toroflux, and it's going straight to a magnetically tunable inductor, again tuned. Its output goes to rectification and a capacitor and adds onto this DC line. And then down here we again have the identical scenario going on, and then a very short section of DC line where we then have the 12 volt automotive interior light LED. Same thing again, well, not the same thing again, there's no rectification here, sorry, but that's got some capacitors across it. And then at the very bottom of the DC line, you can see I've got two capacitors here crossing the positive and negative, but the center between the two, the halfway point, is what becomes my new line that goes as my ground. So the ground is neither positive nor negative. It's exactly the same difference between the positive and the negative. So it's kind of neutral in a way. I know you can't say neutral, but you know what I mean, because this is DC. But so that's the idea. Now, I am quite happy with this because this is an improvement to my previous systems, because I'm now running a 12 volt automotive LED. You notice it doesn't go out completely as the CW stops, not instantly. That's because of the capacitors. It would actually peak brighter if I didn't have the capacitors, but I wanted to stabilize it a bit. If I throw a variable resistor in, or a resistor, I can actually level it off more so that it doesn't quite go as bright, but it's more stable. But there you go, 7.3, and thanks for watching.